Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Hell in a Cell pay-per-view results from October the 7th, 2019. We got the pre-show kickoff live with Jonathan Coachman, Booker T, Charlie Caruso, and Sam Roberts. Panel hyping the show before they sent us to the new Raw announced team of Dio Madden, Vic Joseph, and Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler for the first match of the night. Pre-show, you got Natalya versus Lacey Evans. Natalya won a quick back-and-forth match with the sharpshooter. And we got a quick promo of Eric Rowan and Luke Harper versus Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, which now will be a Texas Tornado match. Taylor backstage with Rowan now. He says this is war. A war he planned on winning. He says Bryan and Rowan think that they're tough, but he and Harper will get the respect that they deserve tonight with tonight's win. Rowan says Reigns and Bryan will get put down for good. Panel then discusses tonight's big tag team match. They also talk about Tyson Fury coming to Raw this week. Coach revealed that Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch is in the Hell will open the main card. And we get a promo for tonight for the panel discussion for tonight's main event between the Fiend and the Universal Champion Seth Rollins. That's it for a kickoff show. Not your normal pay-per-view. I think it was only like two hours and what have you. Wasn't long at all. 2019 Hell in a Cell opens up with a video package live from the Golden One Center, Sacramento, California, as pyro goes off on stage. Vic Joseph welcomes us. He joined in a ringside by Dio Madden and WWF Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler. We see the red sail hanging on high above the ring. Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's title, Sasha versus Becky Lynch. We go to the cell. Out first comes Sasha. We get a look at the Spanish and German teams. Now teams are ringside. Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch was out next. Former ring introduction from Mike Rowe as the cell is lowered around the ring. Banks drops Becky before the match even begins. They go to the floor. And Banks rams Becky face first into the steel as the steel is being lowered. They go under the cell and end up on the ramp. Banks with a suplex on the ramp. The cell is finally lowered down. Banks launches Becky into the barrier. The referee opens the cell, but Banks tosses Becky into the side of one of the side of the walls. Banks then drops Becky at ringside. Banks enters the cell, poses for a mixed reaction. Becky pulls herself up and kicks the cell door into Banks' face. Becky finally enters the cell and unloads on Banks with punches. Becky brings it back in the ring as the referee changes the cell door shut. Not only does it keep the wrestlers in the cell, it keeps others out. The bell rings. Becky grabs a chain from the referee and wraps it around her fist. Becky returns to the ring and decks Banks in the gut a few times with the chain. Then over the back. Becky with an uppercut. Becky kicks Banks and kicks her to the floor. Becky works Banks over and rubs her face into the steel. Fan chant for Becky. Becky now chains the cell door shut while Banks is down. Banks turns it around on the outside, but Becky kicks her. Becky brings a table from under the ring and slides it in. Becky brings a ladder out, but Banks stops her and works her over with the steel chair. Banks turns it around on the floor and delivers chair shots of her own. Becky brings it back in the ring and Banks with a few pin attempts. Becky slams Banks' face into a chair that was stood up. Becky with more face slams into the seat of the chair. Banks fights off of a disarmer and kicks Becky in the face for a 2 count. More back and forth now. Becky sends Banks to the floor and drop kicks her back into the steel a few times. The third time, fans pop for Lynch. Becky brings it back in the ring, but Banks kicks her in the face. Banks with a double knees off the apron into the ladder, standing up against the cell wall. Banks sends the ladder into Becky's face again. Banks brings it back in for a close 2 count. Banks takes it back out and uses the cell door to hurt Becky's arm. Banks keeps control and brings it back in the ring for another pin attempt. Banks slams the chair over Becky's arm Banks focuses on the arm and unloads while Becky is sitting in a chair. Banks comes off the top with a double knees while Becky is in a chair. Becky still kicks out at 2. Banks still Banks sticks a chair into the side of the cell by the legs now. She brings another chair in, but Becky rolls her up for a 2 count. Lynch then kicks a chair into Banks. Banks fights back from the apron. And then Becky kicks Banks off the apron into the side of the cell wall. They bring it back in the ring, and Becky sends Banks into the ring post and the floor. Becky follows and launches Banks into the cell wall again with a Beck Spoiler. Becky brings it back in, and they trade shots. Becky with a drop toe hold into a steel chair, and he bulldog into a chair. Becky covers for a close 2 count. More back and forth now. Becky ends up on top, but Banks kicks her. Becky ends up hitting a missile drop kick while Banks is holding the chair. Banks still kicks out at 2. Not the Van Terminator, but just kicks it while she's holding the chair. Banks unloads with a kendo stick shot on the floor. Banks bridges 2 kendo sticks from one end of the cell wall into the other. Then Banks sends Becky face into the ladder. Banks blocks a shot into the kendo sticks and sends Banks into the face first. Then Becky puts a chair on top of the kendo sticks into the corner of the cell and reinforces with a 3rd stick. Banks unloads. Becky sits Banks in the chair that is on top of the 3 kendo sticks in the corner of the cell. Becky runs off the apron and delivers a big drop kick to Banks on the chair in the corner. Fan chant, holy crap. Now as both are down on the outside. Becky recovers and brings Banks back in the ring. Fan chant, this is awesome. Now Becky goes to the top but hits a big leg drop for a close 2 count. Becky stands a table up in the ring, but Banks hits a backstabber. Banks takes Becky to the corner and talks trash. Banks takes Becky to the top for a superplex through the table, but Becky fights her off. Becky slides down for a power bomb through the table, but Banks stops her. Banks puts Becky through the table with a Meteora, but Becky still kicks out at 2. Banks brings a kendo stick in the ring and chokes Becky with it. Becky makes it to the floor and breaks the hold. She takes the stick and unloads on Banks with it. Becky goes to send Banks into the chair. She's stuck in the middle of the cell wall earlier, but Banks counters and sends Becky into it. Banks tosses several more steel chairs into the ring. Banks continues to sit around Becky with a bunch of steel chairs in the ring while she's down. Banks comes back in and unloads with chair shots again. Becky goes to the second rope, but shows off. Becky stops her with a chair shot. Becky climbs up with a super Beck Exploder from the top onto the bed of the chairs. Becky applies the disarmer for the submission and to retain. After the match, Becky stands tall with the title as the music hits. Banks is helped out with the cell. We go to replays. Banks watches from the stage as Becky stands tall with the title. Back from a break, as Michael Colesaw is at ringside now with Corey Graves, your new SmackDown announcing. They send us to a video package for the next match. Tornado Tag Team match, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Yeah, this was an added match during the day. We go back to the ring. Out first comes Rowan as the power goes off. Greg Hamilton does introductions. Daniel Bryan was up next. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper was out together. The bell rings and they go at it. Rowan and Bryan brawl while Reigns and Harper go at it. Reigns ends up sending Harper out, but Rowan sends Rowan out. Bryan drops Rowan and kips up. Bryan runs and dives out onto Harper. Harper sells a knee injury. Rowan grabs Bryan, but Reigns nails a Superman punch on Rowan. Bryan works on Harper's knee. Harper turns around on Bryan against the barrier. Reigns brings Rowan back into the ring and works him over. Rowan drops Reigns with a big drop kick. Rowan runs for his splash, but Roman moves out of the way. Reigns nails a Samoan drop to Rowan for a close 2 count. Reigns calls for the spear on Rowan, but Harper runs in with a super kick to drop Reigns in mid-move. Harper covers Reigns for a 2 count. Reigns is slammed as Rowan covers for a 2 count. Harper and Rowan take turns on Reigns in the corner now. Bryan runs in and decks them both. but they double team him. Rain rocks Harper, and then Rowan, as Bryan gets sent out of the ring, Rowan and Harper beat down Reigns in the corner. Harper sends Bryan into the barrier. Rowan with a running crossbody to Reigns on the floor. Rowan grabs half of the steel steps, and Harper whips Reigns into them. They leave Reigns out on the floor and double team Bryan in the corner. Rowan puts Bryan on the shoulders as Harper goes to the top. Reigns rocks Harper, and Bryan rolls Rowan up for a 2 count. Rowan drops Bryan and talks trash. Bryan goes for the label lock in the middle of the ring as the pants pop. Harper breaks it up. Harper and Rowan double team Bryan some more for another close 2 count. Bryan fights off of another double team and sends Rowan into the ring post. Bryan and Harper go at it. Harper catches Bryan with a Michinoku driver, but Reigns makes a save. Rowan rings Reigns out, but Reigns fights back in and goes to work on Harper. Bryan focuses on Harper's arm, working him over in the corner. Bryan drop kicks Harper's hurt knee out. Bryan with a yes kicks to Harper. Harper ducks and shoves Bryan. Rowan pulls Bryan out of the ring, but Reigns nails a drive-by on Rowan. Harper dives and sends Reigns into the announcer's table. Everyone is down on the outside. Harper and Rowan take apart all 3 announce tables. They double team Bryan and send him face first into the edge of the apron. Rowan slams Reigns on the floor. Rowan slams Harper onto Reigns. Rowan takes apart the barrier and drives it into Reigns' face, sending him into the crowd. Rowan places Bryan on the main announce table. Harper waits on top of it. Rowan climbs up with him. Bryan counters and sends Harper off the announce table. Reigns leaps up out of nowhere and puts Rowan through the right announce table with a big spear. Reigns immediately clutches his knee and yells out. Possible injury. Bryan and Harper are in the ring now. Bryan with a running drop kick to Harper, and then a third. Harper is still standing. Bryan takes Harper to the top for a hurricanrana, but Harper turns it into a powerbomb for a close 2 count. Harper with a dragon suplex, and then another. Bryan counters, and Reigns hits a Superman punch on Harper. Bryan does a running knee to Harper. Reigns follows over the spear for the pin and the win. After the match, Reigns' music hits. As the winners recover, we go to replays. Bryan pulls himself up while looking at Reigns. Reigns nods a show of respect. Bryan offers his hand for a shake as Reigns looks to shake, but Bryan pulls his hand back and doesn't shake. Bryan wants a hug instead. Fan chant yes as Reigns considers it. Reigns looks to walk away, but Bryan gets the chant going. They finally hug for a pop as Bryan raises their arms. Reigns' music starts back up, and they head to the back together. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Seth Rollins. He's never seen anything like the Fiend, and he knows tonight will be the biggest challenge of his career. But he remains confident about facing Bray Wyatt in the cell. Next match, we got Randy Orton versus Ali. Another added match. We go to the ring. Out first comes Randy Orton. Ali was out next. The bell rings and they go at it. Orton takes control first, works Ali around by his arm, takes it to the corner, and chops Ali down. Orton takes it to the opposite corner for an uppercut, and then another big chop. Ali fights back with chops of his own. Orton with a thumb to the eye. Orton runs into a boot. Ali goes up top, but Orton sends him to the floor. Ali lands hard on the outside. Orton works Ali over on the floor and slams him on top of the announce table. A second time. Ali makes it back in, but Orton stomps away on him. Orton tosses Ali back out to the floor. Orton takes apart the announce table and goes to slam Ali, but it's blocked. Ali drop kicks Orton as the referee counts. Orton launches Ali hard into the ring post. Orton brings it back in for more offense and a 2 count. Orton keeps Ali grounded with his legs wrapped around him now. Ali focuses on the knee and then fights free. Orton takes him right back down. More back and forth. Ali mounts offense with strikes. Orton kicks him in the injured ribs. Orton goes back to the 4-4 breather. Orton runs ropes and nails a suicide dive, sending Orton over to the announce table. Ali unloads on Orton against the barrier now. Orton turns around and brings it in, but Ali kicks him in the face. Ali counters again and kicks Orton on the apron. Ali with a face buster for a close 2 count. Orton keeps control, catches Ali in a power slam. Orton talks some trash as Ollie drops him with a spinning heel kick. Ollie goes to the top for a 450, but rolls through. Ollie blocks the RKO. Ollie nails a big tornado DDT from the corner. Ollie goes up top, but misses as Orton moves. Orton goes on and hits the second rope draping DDT for a pop. Orton drops and hits the mat. Waiting for the Viper strike. Ollie blocks the RKO and rolls Orton up for a 2 count. Ollie then with a kick to the face from the apron. Ollie rolls, but Orton catches him with an RKO out of nowhere. Orton covers for the pin and the win. After the match, Orton stands tall. We go to replays. Orton looks down at Ali before posing in the corner as the music plays. We'll see a replay from Natalya defeating Lacey Evans for the kickoff show. They will face off on Raw in the last man standing match. Women's tag team titles match was up next. Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. We go to the ring. Power goes off as women's tag team champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are out first. Kabuki Warriors are out next. Well, that's always a signal for a title change. When the champions go first, they don't always stay champions. Well, just wait for the results. Well, the Kabuki Warriors are out next. It's Asuka and Kairi Sane. If you didn't know, well, I just told you so. Sane starts off with Cross. Sane offers her hand, but Cross takes. But Sane pulls her in and rocks Bliss on the apron. Sane unloads on Cross and slams her into Asuka's boot. Cross gets double teamed as Asuka comes in. Asuka with a hip attack on Bliss on the apron and a sliding kick to Cross for a 2 count. Cross fights off both opponents and in comes Bliss. Bliss goes to work on Asuka and drops knees to the gut. Then a moonsault. Bliss with more offense on in a 2 count. Bliss sends Cross into Asuka in the corner. Bliss slaps Asuka. Cross takes Asuka down for a 2 count. Asuka and Cross go at it. Cross traps Asuka in the apron. Recovers and unloads. For strikes. Bliss joins in for a double team. Sane goes to make the save, but Bliss stops her. Asuka with a huge shot to Bliss. Asuka keeps control on the outside and brings Bliss back in for a 2 count. Sane tags back in and takes control of Bliss as the referee warns her on the ropes. Hey, you got a 5 count before you get disqualified. Asuka comes back in and works Bliss around for a few minutes. Cross tries to rally her. Asuka with the ankle lock on Bliss in the middle of the ring. Bliss breaks it, but puts it. But Asuka pulls her back for another leg submission. Asuka goes into a half crab. Bliss eventually breaks it, but Asuka slams her to the mat. Sane tags back in and unloads on Bliss as some fans chant for Cross. Sane with a thumb to the eye of Cross and sliding clothesline to Bliss. Sane covers, but the referee doesn't see it as he's dealing with Cross, trying to get her out of the mat. Out to on the apron. Sane with another pin attempt. Network cuts out and comes back to Bliss, kicking Sane away and nailing a cannonball on her from the apron. I'm glad I wasn't watching the network. I caught it from somewhere else online. Asuka spits green mist in Cross' face and kicks her to cover for the pin and new women's champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane. After match, Kabuki Warriors stand tall with the titles. Yeah, because Asuka spits the green mist and Cross' face doesn't see it in this pinfall. Cross is on the outside with Bliss. Her face covered in green. We go to replays as the new champions celebrate. Announcers give us a look back at Friday SmackDown Fox premiere. The OC versus Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman. I don't know anything about this match either that was lately advertised. We go to ring out first with the OC. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and U.S. champion AJ Styles. Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar was out next for the 6-man tag match. They stop and wait for the mystery tag team partner. Braun Strowman was out next. Ivar starts off with Anderson, and they go at it. Ivar runs over Anderson early with a big shoulder. Ivar takes Anderson down, works on the shoulder. Ivar drops Anderson with another shoulder. Gallows comes in for a double team, but it backfires as Anderson gets dropped. Ivar fights off AJ and Gallows. Ivar goes up top, but rolls through. Eric tags in and goes at it with Gallows. Eric with a big drop kick into the corner. Eric launches Gallows with a big throat. AJ ends up getting involved and cutting Eric off, laying him out on the floor. Eric returns to the ring, but Gallows nails a big kick to the head. Gallows with a big follow-away slam. Gallows works Eric over and takes him to the corner. AJ tags in for a double team with Gallows, but Eric tosses Gallows to the floor. AJ rocks Eric and then Ivar. Braun grabs AJ's punch and brings him down. Gallows brings Braun off the apron and drops him. AJ with a Pele kick to Eric for a 2 count. AJ keeps Eric down with strikes in the middle of the ring. Anderson takes back in and keeps Eric on the ropes. Eric fights off Anderson and Gallows. Anderson with a big spine buster to Eric for a 2 count. Eric drops Anderson with a forearm. AJ tags in and knocks Ivar off the apron before the tag. Eric with a big backdrop to AJ. Braun finally returns to the apron. It's fans pop. Braun tags in and unloads on all 3 opponents. Braun goes to work on AJ and smashes him in the corner. Braun runs around the ring and hits Gallows first. Then AJ, then Anderson, then AJ. All with big shoulder blocks. Fans cheer Braun on as he brings AJ back in. Braun charges and hits the ring post as AJ moves out of the way. AJ takes Braun down with a chop block. AJ with a calf crusher on Braun. Now, Eric runs in and with a knee to AJ. Anderson attacks, but Eric sends him out. Gallows boots Eric, but Ivar takes him out. AJ with phenomenal forearm to Ivar. Anderson and Gallows take out Braun after he hits AJ. Referee calls for the bell after they take turns on him. Winners by disqualification, Braun Strowman and Viking Raiders. After the bell, OC continues attacking Braun until Eric and Ivar make the save. Eric and Ivar run the ropes and for suicide dives to Gallows and Anderson. AJ is left alone with Braun now. Braun counters, runs into a shot into the corner, and then another. AJ flies in from the apron, but Braun knocks him out of the air. Braun stands over AJ and looks at his fist, then smiles. Vic wonders if that's a message to Tyson Fury. We go to replays. Braun marches to the back as the OC recovers. AJ yells at Anderson and Gallows as they have to help him up and to the back. Street Profits are backstage hyping up Raw, where there will be a draft showcase. Tamina Snuka knocks R-Truth and WWE 24/7 champion Carmella into the picture. Then covers Carmella to win the title. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't somebody else have the title earlier on the pre-show? She goes to leave, but Tyler Breeze appears. She punches him in the face and keeps going. Carmella and Truth eventually go off after her, and the Profits go back to doing what they do. Announcers send us to a video package on the recent King of the Ring tournament. Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin. We go to the ring, and out first comes King Corbin. Chad Gable's out next. Corbin takes the mic at ringside as fans boo. Corbin is disappointed he has to face Gable again. He mentions putting The Rock in his place on SmackDown. Corbin keeps running his mouth and renames Gable Shorty Gable. Gable fumes in the ring. Corbin enters the ring, and we get the bell. Gable catches with a corner cannonball but Corbin still gets up. Gable with a takedown. Gable mounts Corbin's back and works him over. Corbin slams Gable. Gable fights Corbin into the corner. Gable goes for the ankle lock. Takes Corbin down for it. Corbin fights up and out, but Gable clotheslines and unloads with strikes. Gable keeps fighting and applies a sleeper as fans chant his name. Corbin ends up ramming Gable into a ring post, then hits the floor for a breather. Corbin follows to the floor and mocks Gable, rams him into a steel ring post again. Corbin brings him back into the ring and works Gable over in the corner. Corbin whips Gable into the corner for a 2 count. Corbin keeps control and sends Gable to the floor as the referee counts. Gable makes it back in, but Corbin grounded him. Corbin with more offense and another pin attempt. Corbin shows off some more as fans boo him. Corbin continues taunting and talking trash to trash as Corbin keeping him down. Corbin takes Gable to the top and works him over. Corbin climbs up for a superflex, but it's blocked. Gable headbutts Corbin to the mat, and now's a missile drop kick. More back and forth between the two. Gable leaps off the top, but Corbin catches him with a big spine buster for a close 2 count. Gable finally unloads with offense while talking trash to Corbin. Gable with a big German suplex for a 2 count. Gable with 2 corner cannonballs. Corbin catches the third for a power bomb and a 2 count. Fan Chopper Gable, as Corbin meets him around and talks trash, yelling at him to stay down. Gable blocks the end of days and fights back. Gable knows the moonsault for a close 2 count. Gable with an ankle lock, but it's broken as Corbin slides to the floor. Corbin chokeslams Gable into the apron. Corbin grabs his scepter and brings it in, but Gable ducks. The referee grabs it, and Gable takes advantage, rolling Corbin up for the pin and to finally end it. After the match, Gable is announced the winner by Hamilton as Shorty Gable. Gable makes his exit as Corbin looks on from the ring. Women's title match, SmackDown Women's title match, Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Back for the ring, out first comes Charlotte as power goes off. SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley is up next. We can look at the other international announce team in the arena. Camera cuts backstage to Carmella helping Truth regain the 24/7 title by decking Tamina Snuka from behind. I didn't see it. Shofunaki tried to protect Snuka from Truth, but Carmella hit her from behind. Truth and Carmella run off together. We go back to the ring for a formal ring introductions from Hamilton. Didn't see none of that myself. Bayley and Flair go at it. Flair gets the upper hand and goes to work. Bayley tries for a crossbody, but Flair moves and Bayley lands hard. Flair with a Boston Crab now. Bayley gets the bottom rope and breaks the hold. Bayley ends up turning it around with a poke to the eye. Bayley mounts Flair with strikes for a 2 count. Bayley works Flair over in the corner, but runs into a knee. Flair with a big clothesline. Flair with a big chop and throw, and then a kip up for a pop. Bayley turns it around and works Flair over on the outside. Bayley brings Flair back to the ring, focuses on the leg and knee. Bayley wraps Flair's leg around the ring post and comes back in for a 1 count. Bayley with half crab. Flair rolls her into a pin attempt. Bayley turns back around and launches her into the ropes for a 2 count. Bayley mocks Flair and goes for the figure 4, but Flair counters for a pin attempt. Flair drops Bayley from the apron with a big boot. Flair wraps Bayley's leg around the ring post for a few more times, wearing the legs down. Flair brings it back in and nails the chop block, then kicks the knee out again. Flair kicks the knee out 1 more time. Bayley counters in the corner, but Flair hits a backbreaker and a natural selection for a close 2 count as Bayley grabs the bottom rope to escape the pin. Flair ends up going for a top rope moonsault, but Bayley gets her knees up. Bayley kicks Flair in the face and follows to the floor. Flair counters and hits a follow-away slam on the floor. The referee checks on Bayley as she yells out. Flair slams Bayley's leg into the ring a few times as the referee counts. Flair brings it back in the ring and goes for the figure 4. Bayley rolls her up for a 2 count. Bayley catches a big boot and covers her for the pin. Using the ropes for leverage, the referee catches her. Bayley argues with the referee and Flair nails a big boot. They tangle. Flair fights the figure 4 and bridges into her figure 8. Then Bayley taps out. Winner and new champion, 10-time champion, Charlotte Flair. After the belt, Bayley retreats to the floor as Flair stands tall with the title as the music hits. We go to replays. Bayley throws a fit and screams at ringside. She cries and yells at the referee to get away. They keep the camera on Bayley a few more minutes until she finally gets up. Kayla Braxton stops Chad Gable backstage. She slips up and calls him Shorty, but he's fine with being called that now. He cracks short jokes at Baron Corbin and says this means more to him than almost anything in his career because he finally shut someone up. He goes on and walks off, but Corbin attacks him from out of nowhere. Corbin destroys Gable and leaves him laying. Corbin walks off as officials check on Gable again. We go back to Joseph, Madden, and Lawler at ringside for tonight's main event. They send us to a video package, Hell in Cell main event. The Fiend versus Bray Wyatt. The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. Tonight's main event. Out first comes Seth Rollins with Pyro. Rollins approaches the cell and looks at it before entering. Out next comes the Fiend, Bray Wyatt with his head lantern. Wyatt enters the ring and poses as Rollins stares him down. The bell rings and it looks like they're keeping the red light on from above. During the whole match, Wyatt slams Rollins first, but turns it back and walks away, allowing Rollins to attack. Rollins ends up going under the ring for a kendo stick as Wyatt watches from the ring. Rollins brings it in and nails Wyatt in the gut, but it does nothing. No effect. Rollins with another stick shot, but Wyatt just eats him. Wyatt charges and gets kicked. Rollins comes off the top, but Wyatt catches him and slams him. Wyatt keeps control, works Rollins around on the floor. Wyatt then launches Rollins into the cell a few times. Wyatt rocks Rollins in against the ring post and charges and knocking him back into the steel. Wyatt sends Rollins into the steel steps again. Rollins gets launched into another set of steps. Wyatt goes on the ring for weapons, but Rollins unloads on him with half the steps. Rollins brings the table from under the ring now. Rollins brings it into the ring and dives back out, sending Wyatt into the steel of the cell. Rollins goes back in and out for another dive. Rollins sends Wyatt into the steps. Rollins returns to the ring and stands the table up. Rollins goes for the third dive, but Wyatt catches him and delivers a Sister Abigail into the side of the cell. Wyatt yells out some, and his fans pop. Wyatt brings it back in the ring and says, "Yowie wowie." Chant breaks out from the crowd. Wyatt follows and goes to put Rollins through the table with Uranagi, but Rollins fights free. Rollins kicks Wyatt onto the table. Rollins goes to the top and hits a frog splash through the table. Rollins is unable to cover for the pin. Wyatt gets up first, and Rollins can't believe it. Rollins attacks and hits the stomp, but Wyatt gets right back up. Rollins goes right in for some more offense, but Wyatt decks him and hits Sister Abigail for a 2 count. Wyatt mounts Rollins and pounds on him. Wyatt keeps Rollins down and twists his neck, leaving him laying. The referee checks on Rollins as Wyatt watches and laughs. Wyatt brings a massive mallet from under the ring now and stomps Rollins with it. Now it's a clown-sized mallet. He uses it to ram Rollins back into the steel. No stoppage from the referee at this point. Rollins with a pair of super kicks, and then a third. Rollins with a stomp into the mallet. Rollins follows Wyatt back in. Rollins springboards in with a knee to the face, but Wyatt takes it. Rollins springboards in with another knee, and then Wyatt is still standing. Rollins with a super kick, and then another, but Wyatt just goes down to one knee. Rollins with another big stomp. Rollins with another stomp, then another as fans start booing now. Rollins with a pedigree in the middle of the ring, and then another stomp. Rollins covers, but Wyatt immediately kicks out. Rollins is shocked. Rollins with more offense, but Wyatt is just taking it. Rollins delivers more stomps, but Wyatt keeps coming, but slower each time. Wyatt is finally down. Another stomp. Rollins brings a steel chair from under the ring, and then Rollins brings the chair in, and Wyatt is laid out on his back. Rollins stands over Wyatt and hits him in the head with a chair shot. Wyatt immediately kicks out, and Rollins can't believe it. Rollins brings a ladder into the ring. Rollins places the chair over Wyatt's head. Rollins drives the chair into Wyatt's face with the ladder, but Wyatt kicks out of two. Wyatt is still on his back. Rollins goes under the ring, but he can't find the weapon he wants. Rollins brings the toolbox into the ring now. Rollins places the ladder on Wyatt's face and a chair. He grabs the toolbox and starts beating on Wyatt with it, over and over on the chair and ladder, and Wyatt's face. Fans boo Rollins. Rollins puts the toolbox on top of the ladder and chair on Wyatt's face now. Rollins goes back under the ring, and this time grabs Triple H's sledgehammer, the equalizer. Rollins brings the sledgehammer back in and goes to swing, but the referee stops him, trying to talk him out of it. Rollins swings the sledgehammer and hits the debris on top of Wyatt's head. The referee immediately calls for the bell as the boos pick up. Winner by disqualification, the announcer said, The Fiend. After the bell, Rollins immediately looks on from the corner. Shocked, Rollins jumps up and yells while Wyatt is still laid flat out on his back. The officials and paramedics rush down to the ring. Red light still focused on the ring. Fans are chanting for AEW as Wyatt is rolled over onto a stretcher board. Selling it, Rollins approaches and Wyatt applies a mandible claw out of nowhere. Wyatt handles Rollins and sends him out of the ring. The cell has been raised now. Wyatt drops Rollins on the floor with Sister Abigail. Wyatt exposes the floor itself as he lifts up the athletic mat. and drops Rollins on the exposed concrete with another Sister Abigail. Wyatt applies the mandible claw again, and this time the lights start flashing as a menacing sound plays over the arena. Fans boo as the arena goes black after we see Wyatt choking Rollins. The boos continue, but all we hear and see is black. The sound hits again, and Wyatt is shown standing there. Fans are still booing. Wyatt disappears, and all we hear is his laugh go out of the arena. 2019 Hell in a Cell pay-per-view goes off the air at that point. And that concludes my results for Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Thanks again. Peace out. See you in one video. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.